Yes. 1964.
Yes.
Are you ready to go down memory lane with us? All right.
It's true, while icons like Bob Marley, Toots and the Maytals, and Desmond Decker rose to global fame and became household names, the 1960s Jamaican music scene was so much more than just a few superstars. It was a vibrant, buzzing, super creative place, a fertile ground for countless talented artists, whose lights burned brightly for a moment before, for various reasons, fading into obscurity. Many of them vanished without widespread fame, often leaving behind a handful of incredible songs that are now treasured like secret maps by music collectors and true reggae fans. At CEtrends, we love digging into the stories you don't always hear, exploring the parts of entertainment history that time has tried to forget. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 10 of these amazing 60s reggae, ska, and rocksteady artists. These are the voices and sounds that shaped a genre but somehow missed the huge spotlight. So get ready to discover some incredible music and wonder why these talents didn't get the fame they deserved. Let's dive in.
That song by the Chariot, here we go, man. The Loser! And my lonely nights, girl, on the outside looking in.
First up, we have Derrick Harriott. Now, calling Derrick Harriott forgotten might make some reggae purists raise an eyebrow, and for good reason. He had a truly respectable career, not just as a singer, but also as a super important music producer. He helped shape the sound of many other artists. But here's the thing. Many of his early solo recordings, the ones he made himself as a singer in the late 60s during the Rocksteady and early reggae boom, are often completely overlooked by regular listeners. Think about the vibe of the late 60s in Jamaica. Ska was speeding up into the cooler, smoother dance rhythm of Rocksteady, and then slowly melting into the first sounds of reggae. Derrick Harriott was right there in the middle of it all. He had this incredibly smooth, almost laid-back vocal style. When he sang, it was cool, effortless, and always sounded perfect for a sunny Jamaican afternoon. But what made him truly special were the rhythms, the musical backing tracks he created. They were genuinely innovative, meaning they brought new ideas and fresh sounds to the music. Songs like Do These Lips Tell Lies or The Loser showed off his unique blend of soulful singing with those innovative early reggae beats. He had this knack for catchy tunes that still felt deep. But as the 60s turned into the 70s, Harriott started focusing more and more on producing. He ran his own record label, Crystal Records, and helped launch the careers of other artists like Dennis Brown and the Ethiopians. It was almost like he stepped behind the camera, shining the light on others. And in doing so, his own voice, his early solo work, kind of faded from the foreground. He didn't vanish entirely from music, but his individual performing career from that golden era definitely became overshadowed. It's a classic case of an unsung hero whose true artistry is hidden in plain sight. If you're a fan of smooth vocals and groundbreaking beats, you absolutely need to check out his early stuff.
Telling you that you're near. Yes, check the motions, baby. Got the label in here on your hand, makes me understand.
Next on our list is a voice so beautiful, so heartbreaking, that it's almost criminal. She's not a global household name. Phyllis Dylan. She was rightly known as the Queen of Rocksteady. And let me tell you, when you hear her sing, you'll understand why. She possessed this incredibly soulful, melancholic voice, meaning it was full of deep emotion and a touch of sadness. It perfectly captured the feeling of the Rocksteady era, which often had slower tempos and more emotional lyrics than the upbeat ska. Phyllis recorded numerous hits for Duke Reid's famous Treasure Isle label, which was one of the biggest record companies in Jamaica at the time. Tracks like Don't Stay Away and her haunting cover of Perfidia are absolute classics. When she sang, every note felt real, every word pulled at your heartstrings. She could convey longing, heartache, and pure emotion with such effortless grace, despite her immense talent and the huge impact she had on the rocksteady genre. Her career was actually quite short-lived compared to many of her male friends in music. She recorded some amazing songs, but then, for various personal and industry reasons, she gradually stepped back from the music scene. She didn't get the huge international recognition or the long career that many of her male contemporaries enjoyed. It's one of those sad realities of music history where incredible female talent sometimes struggled to break through the way male artists did. Her voice was pure gold, a treasure that deserves to be rediscovered by every single music lover out there. Have you heard Don't Stay Away? If not, add it to your playlist immediately. Now, some of you might know the Ethiopians from their later, more famous roots reggae hits like the super catchy Train to Scavell or Engine 54. Those songs definitely put them on the reggae map. But what many people don't realize is that the group went through several changes in its early days, and their initial ska and rocksteady work, especially before their most well-known lineup became fixed, often gets much less attention. Think of it like a band that had a few different members before becoming super famous. The Ethiopians, led by the incredible Leonard Sparrow Dylan, started creating music in the mid-60s. Their earlier recordings have a slightly different feel, often more raw, a bit more unpolished, but full of powerful emotion and unique vocal harmonies. They were experimenting with sounds bridging the gap between the energetic ska and the more laid-back rocksteady. Songs like Long Time Now showcase their early charm and distinctive sound, but as the 60s came to a close and reggae truly took over, their style evolved and their lineup changed. This meant that some of their initial, groundbreaking recordings from the very beginning of their journey kind of vanished into the background. They didn't disappear entirely, because their later work became iconic. But that early foundational sound, the raw energy and experimental spirit of their first recordings is often overlooked. It's like finding the first rough sketch of a famous painting. It shows you the journey, the evolution, and the early brilliance that set the stage for everything that came after. If you want to understand the roots of their sound, dig into their pre-Train to Scavell days.
With me, whoa, we were.
Next, we have a true hidden gem, Joya Landis. She was a lesser-known female vocalist from the vibrant rocksteady era, but her impact on those lucky enough to discover her music is undeniable. Joya released only a handful of truly beautiful tracks, mostly for Duke Reed's Treasure Isle label, during a very brief period. Her most notable song, Angel of the Morning, is a cover, but she completely made it her own. Joya's voice was something special. It was ethereal, meaning it sounded almost heavenly, light, and airy. Her delivery was delicate and full of grace. She stood out in a scene that was often dominated by more powerful, rootsy male voices or gruff DJs. Her unique sound, combined with her touching lyrics, made her recordings feel intimate and deeply personal. But here's the mystery. After releasing just a few stunning songs, Joya Landis seemed to disappear from the music scene almost completely. It's one of the biggest puzzles in 60s Jamaican music. Why did such a talented vocalist with such a distinct sound record so little and then vanish? We don't have clear answers, which only adds to her mystique. She left behind a small but incredibly treasured discography that collectors seek out. Her brief appearance in the reggae world was like a beautiful fleeting comet, shining brightly for a moment before silently fading, leaving behind only a breathtaking memory. If you're looking for something truly unique and emotionally resonant from the 60s, seek out Joya Landis. Alton Ellis. Now, this is a name that every reggae fan should know. He's often rightly credited as the godfather of Rocksteady because his music literally defined the sound of that era. He had a string of massive hits with his group The Flames, and later as a solo roots reggae artist. But even legends have hidden chapters in their stories. Some of his earlier solo efforts and less common collaborations from the mid to late 60s, while brilliant, are often celebrated less than his biggest chart-toppers. Ellis was a master of emotion. His voice was smooth yet powerful, capable of conveying deep heartache or pure joy with ease. He had a knack for creating melodies that stuck in your head and lyrics that truly spoke to the Jamaican experience. While songs like I'm Still in Love with You are iconic, his vast collection of recordings means that some of his equally fantastic, but perhaps less commercially successful early tracks often get overlooked. These forgotten gems might include his initial experiments with different producers, or songs that weren't huge hits, but were crucial in developing the Rocksteady sound. It's like looking at a famous author's early short stories. They might not be their best-known novels, but they show the raw talent and the seeds of what was to come. For Ellis, these forgotten chapters are a testament to his constant innovation and his deep roots in the evolving Jamaican music scene. They're a deeper dive into the mind of a musical genius who shaped an entire genre. If you think you know Alton Ellis, dig a little deeper, and you might find some surprises.
Gonna wait till the midnight hour. That's when it twinkles in your eyes.
The 1960s in Jamaica was a golden age for vocal trios, and the Silvertones were one of the best. This group had a truly smooth, harmonies-driven sound that was absolutely characteristic of the Rocksteady era. They were known for their tight vocals, where each voice blended perfectly with the others, creating a rich, soulful sound. They recorded for some of the biggest producers of the time, including the legendary Coxsone Dodd at Studio One and Duke Reed at Treasure Isle. Their track, Tears Don't Run Dry, is considered a classic, a perfect example of Rocksteady's melancholic beauty and smooth grooves. It's the kind of song that makes you want to sway slowly. However, despite their talent and their ability to craft genuinely moving songs, much of their other material remains relatively obscure today. They didn't achieve the widespread, lasting recognition of other popular vocal groups like the Heptones or the Paragons, who had longer careers or more consistent hit singles. The Silvertones released a handful of strong songs, but they didn't quite maintain the momentum needed to stay in the mainstream spotlight. They're a reminder of how many incredibly talented groups existed in Jamaica during that time, producing beautiful music that, sadly, didn't always get the attention it deserved in the long run. They're a true gem for anyone who appreciates classic vocal harmonies.
Stolen goods in this house. Where did you get that pants you wearing? Got it from the neighbor next door.
Hemsley Morris is another talented vocalist from the bustling Rocksteady period whose star, unfortunately, didn't shine as brightly or as long as it should have. He recorded some truly moving tracks like Little Things and Love is a Hurting Thing. If you listen to his songs, you'll immediately notice his soulful delivery and emotive lyrics. He had a way of singing that made you feel every word, every emotion, making his songs deeply personal and relatable. His music was well regarded within Jamaica, and he certainly made an impression on those who heard him. However, despite his obvious talent, Hemsley Morris never managed to break through to international stardom. He didn't get the big record deals or the widespread touring opportunities that could have launched him onto the global stage. His recorded output was quite limited, meaning he didn't release a huge number of songs, which also contributed to his name being less recognized outside of dedicated reggae collector circles. Hemsley Morris represents so many artists from that era, immensely talented, capable of creating beautiful and meaningful music, but for various reasons, lack of consistent production, limited promotion, or simply bad luck in a crowded market, they vanished from wider public memory. He's a testament to the sheer depth of talent that existed in Jamaica's music scene during the 60s. A voice that deserves to be pulled out of obscurity and listened to with the appreciation it always deserved. When you think of 60s Jamaican music, you absolutely have to think of Tommy Makook. He was a foundational figure, a true giant of the scene. As a saxophonist, he was simply brilliant, and as a band leader for legendary groups like the Skatalites, the creators of ska, and the Supersonics, his influence was absolutely massive. He basically helped create the sound of an entire genre. However, here's the twist. His solo recordings as a reggae artist, where he stepped out as the main instrumentalists, are often overshadowed by his work with those hugely famous groups. While the Skatalites were rocking stages and recording classic after classic, Makook also released some excellent instrumental reggae tracks under his own name. These songs often featured his smooth, melodic saxophone playing over infectious reggae rhythms. They were showcases for his incredible musical skill and his deep understanding of Jamaican rhythms, but because he was so busy and so vital to so many other projects, his own solo work sometimes gets lost in the shuffle. People remember him as the saxophonist for the Legends rather than the solo artist who crafted beautiful instrumental reggae tunes. It's like being the best supporting actor in 100 hit movies. Everyone knows your face, but they might not remember your own starring roles. His individual solo recordings are a treat for anyone who loves instrumental reggae and wants to hear the pure, unadulterated talent of one of Jamaica's greatest musicians. His unheralded solo pieces are a must-listen for instrumental reggae fans. Let's talk about the Cables. This vocal trio recorded for the legendary Studio One, a place often called the Motown of Jamaica, because it produced so many hits. The Cables are probably best known for their smooth and catchy hit, Baby Why, a rocksteady classic that shows off their distinctive sound. Their harmonies were incredibly tight, meaning their voices blended together perfectly, creating a warm, rich sound that was very appealing. They had all the ingredients for success: great voices, good songs, and a legendary studio behind them. However, despite their hit, their overall output and lasting impact are not as widely celebrated or remembered as some of their peers, like the Heptones or the Paragons, who had more consistent success over a longer period. Like many talented groups of that era, the Cables released a handful of strong singles that were popular in Jamaica, but they didn't manage to sustain a long-term career in the mainstream spotlight. The music industry, even then, was incredibly competitive, and it was easy for even talented groups to get lost in the shuffle. They are a perfect example of a group that contributed significantly to the sound of 60s reggae, but for various reasons didn't become a household name globally. Their music is definitely worth seeking out if you appreciate classic vocal trios and the smooth sounds of Rocksteady. Finally, we come to the Soul Vendors. Now, this isn't a vocal group or a solo singer. This was an instrumental group that played a huge role in shaping the sound of 60s Jamaican music. They served as the house band for Cox and Dodd's iconic Studio One in the mid to late 60s. Think of them as the unsung heroes, the musical backbone for countless hits. They provided the backing rhythms for literally hundreds of vocalists who recorded at Studio One, from Bob Marley to the Heptones. But here's the interesting part. While they were busy laying down the grooves for everyone else, the Soul Vendors also released their own instrumental tracks. These were often pure rhythmic genius, showcasing the incredible talent of musicians like Jackie Me Too, keyboards, Roland Alfonso, saxophone, and Leroy Sibbles, bass, who would later become legends in their own right. Their instrumental releases like Death in the Arena or Swing Easy are foundational reggae tracks. However, as a named artist group, their instrumental releases often remain in the background, known more to hardcore reggae fans and music historians than to the general public. People recognize the famous songs they played on, but not always the group name itself. Many of the individual musicians from this collective became hugely famous, but the collective Soul Vendors faded as new artists and record labels emerged. They are a prime example of the behind-the-scenes genius that powered Jamaica's music machine, creators of iconic rhythms whose collective name slipped into obscurity, even as their music lived on through countless hits. They're proof that sometimes the true stars are the ones creating the foundations no one ever sees. So there you have it. 10 incredible artists and groups from the 1960s Jamaican music scene whose lights, for various reasons, didn't shine brightly enough in the global spotlight. Some had short careers, some were overshadowed by bigger names or their own behind-the-scenes work, and some simply didn't get the international promotion they deserved. The music industry, even then, was a tough, crowded place, and many truly talented people got lost in the shuffle. But at CEtrends, we believe their stories and their music are far too important to be truly forgotten. These artists were pioneers. They helped build the very foundations of reggae, crafting the rhythms, melodies, and vocal styles that would influence generations of musicians. Their work offers a deeper, richer understanding of how reggae evolved from ska and rocksteady into the global phenomenon it is today. They are a testament to the incredible creativity bubbling in Jamaica during that golden decade. What do you think? Did any of these artists surprise you? Have you heard their music before? Or do you know other forgotten gems from the 60s reggae scene that deserve more love? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and join the CEtrends conversation. Your insights help us all learn and appreciate the vast world of celebrity and entertainment history even more. If you're fascinated by the hidden stories of music, the rise and fall of fame, and the amazing journeys of artists who shaped our world, then you're in the right place. Make sure you're subscribed to CEtrends. We bring you exclusive insights and discussions about the trends and stories you won't hear anywhere else. We're breaking down the biggest moments and hidden gems in entertainment, all designed to keep you informed and entertained. Hit that subscribe button and become part of our growing community. And speaking of forgotten legends and surprising music facts, you might also enjoy some of our other videos. For a deeper dive into reggae's evolution, check out our video on 70s reggae artists you forgot existed but deserved more love. If you're curious about the darker side of the music industry, don't miss 10 Times Reggae. Artists shamelessly stole music. And for more hidden treasures, explore our series on 15 obscure reggae artists from the 60s and 70s you definitely need to hear. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next trend breakdown on CEtrends.